I love these Saturday evenings. Is there anything better than a Trump rally?
At times, it gets hard to see the line that divides Donald Trump, the presidential candidate, from Donald Trump, the American pop culture figure. After spending days in a Manhattan courtroom listening to porn actress Stormy Daniels tell tales of a tryst in a Vegas hotel, the Donald spent May 11 on the boardwalk in Wildwood, New Jersey, which seems fitting.
Spring will soon be gone.
Mr. Trump no doubt remembers Bobby Rydell's 1963 hit Wildwood Days, an anthem to summer fun, and wanted to share his escape with 100,000 of his closest friends.
We have a much bigger crowd than Bruce Springsteen, right? Much bigger.
Predictably, the media was not impressed, with coverage largely focused on the personal attacks and coarse language at a Trump rally.
Fat Alvin.
All true, but what the media failed to mention was Mr. Trump's tone on abortion, one of Joe Biden's main re-election strategies.
Former President Donald Trump did this.
And an issue the vice president is building her entire campaign around.
Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court because he intended for them to overturn Roe.
It was late in the Wildwood rally that Mr. Trump addressed abortion, and for the sake of clarity, it is important to listen to what the former president said.
We've also gotten abortion out of the federal government and back to the states.
Mr. Trump referred to the Supreme Court's 2022 Dodd decision overturning Roe v. Wade as a dividing issue that has now, after 52 years, gone back where it should be.
It's now up to the will of the people in each state. Some states will be more conservative and others will be more liberal, but the people will now decide.
Virtually none of the major news outlets described his abortion remarks.
Some will have more weeks than others, or many more weeks. Others won't have the same number, but the people will be deciding. We took it out of the federal government.
And in a bow to political reality, he described the recent referendum results on abortion, now that it's up to the states.
If you take a look at Ohio, they just voted a different vote than people thought. Much more liberal, you would say. Much more, as they would say, progressive. I use the word liberal. Kansas, the same thing. But that's the way it is, and it's something that we should cherish.
Mr. Trump's position, as described in Wildwood, is more in sync with what was articulated during the primaries by Nikki Haley.
Until 1973, abortion was not a federal issue. Each state decided where it stood. Many had restrictive laws. Some had permissive laws. Yes, the issue was controversial, but the citizens of each state reached a consensus that reflected their values. Then, in 1973, the Supreme Court changed all that. It declared the entire nation must follow one standard, a standard not determined by the American people, but by unelected judges.
If Mr. Trump blunts this issue, a huge crack opens up in the Biden re-election strategy.
Getting it back to the states puts the question where it belongs with a vote of the people, and over time it will work out, and it already is working out, and the country is starting to come together on this unbelievably contentious issue.
Mr. Trump got a rock star's reception in Wildwood, but to win in 2024, he has to expand beyond his loyal base.
So we're going to win New Jersey.
And that's perhaps why, during this speech, we saw the green shoots of a Trump effort at a broader appeal. He ripped into the persistence of inflation under Mr. Biden.
Here in New Jersey, you're suffering under some of the highest property taxes and sales taxes in the nation.
And attempted to, in effect, suburbanize these high economic costs, offering a remedy.
Instead of a Biden tax hike, I'll give you a Trump middle class, upper class, lower class, business class, big tax cut.
He denounced Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate, but mainly as a matter of allowing greater individual choice.
You can buy electric if you want. You can buy gas. You can buy whatever you want. And that's the way it should be.
Culture war issues continue to sustain huge applause.
I will keep men out of women's sports.
But less predictable was an attack on a Biden proposal to mandate denser housing construction in the suburbs.
He will destroy your property value. He will destroy your wealth.
In short, Mr. Trump is making personal federal coercion an election issue. I'm making this speech sound more coherent than how it came out in the Trumpian stream of disconnected consciousness. As always, the what about questions abound. But if Mr. Trump ever gets out of his own way, Joe Biden's definition of MAGA extremist may need to be expanded.